If you've ever reached a point in watercolor painting where you think, I don't know what to do next, or I'm scared I'm about to ruin it, this video's for you. Because most watercolor advice helps you start, but very little of it helps you decide when to stop. And that's where paintings fall apart. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple way to make that decision. And yes, that means breaking a very popular rule, but only at the right moment. We're always told to start light in watercolor, and that advice is absolutely valid. Starting light keeps your colors clean and your options open. It's one of the reasons watercolor can look fresh instead of heavy, and that mistakes are easy to fix. So this is not a video about ignoring the basics or stating that starting light is wrong. It's about understanding the limits of that advice. I picked this white rat for a reason. This is one of those subjects where knowing when to stop is especially hard. You have strong features, eyes, nose, paws, and a lot of white fur that's just as important. There's very little color to hide behind, so if you hesitate too long here, the painting stays flat as it's looking now. But if you rush blindly, it could easily get ruined. So this is the perfect example to show you how to bridge the gap and decide when to stop without guessing. I began the way you'd expect, the easy way, starting light. I painted the left ear with a creamy, milk-like mix of pink, yellow, and sepia, quite diluted. And because this is a backgroundless subject that needs precision, I prefer to paint wet on dry for control. And I'm constantly using a clean and damp brush to soften edges and create lighter transitions. This keeps the watercolor look and it lets me start safely, as we've been taught. Everything feels comfortable, and that's why I do the same with the second ear. But so far, this is textbook watercolor advice, because here's what happens to a lot of people, and you're about to see it right here. So you start with something. Here it's the ears, and then what? With less experience, I'm not sure I'd know for sure where I'm heading from here because this nothingness is stressful. And if you can relate, let me know in the comments below, because this is exactly where people either freeze or start adding random light layers everywhere, hoping for more clarity, perhaps. But that feeling right here, uncertainty, is actually a signal. It's telling you you need direction, you need landmarks. And that's when starting light is no longer enough on its own. In these moments, I break the start light rule, not by ignoring it, but by stepping outside it for a moment. That's exactly why I map out the eyes with a much thicker and darker version of my sepia. This is a bold move, but instantly something changes. Suddenly, we have something solid to build around. The painting has direction because the eyes become an anchor. That doesn't mean everything needs to be dark now. Just means that the important things need to exist early enough to guide the rest. That's why for the nose, I go back to working lighter again. I wet the paper and I add a mix of pink and yellow to paint the fleshy skin. And that color helps me clearly separate the nose from the surrounding fur later. The nose becomes another landmark. Same with the paws. I paint them with the same mix and I keep things light by softening edges with a clean and damp brush still, like in the ears, so I don't lose the delicacy of natural whites. Can you feel how the painting is already becoming easier to read and paint from here? It's the moment where things start to click, because now with the ears, eyes, nose, and paws in place, we can finally see what the fur actually needs to be. Very light, but not completely white, because obviously, as it is right now, it looks quite flat and unfinished. So I go back to starting light again. I dilute my sepia further and I begin suggesting the fur. I don't overpaint it. I just let the paper breathe. That's still key in a watercolor painting. I soften strokes into the whites, and then I add slightly more emphasis where the mouth and face structure need shaping. I even add a gentle shadow under the chin to shape the face better. So everything is still light, but now it's intentional, and this kind of confidence was possible thanks to the dark features. So you can see now that watercolor painting, just like any other medium, works like a puzzle. Let me quickly show you another example so you don't think it only works for living beings. In this shoe painting I did recently, the most important thing was not the color, it was the leather folds, because that's what makes it look like an old worn shoe. So I painted a light base first, just enough to place the shape. And then I added the folds early with darker values to give myself direction. Once those landmarks were in, finishing the shoe became much easier. And I could come back with lighter glazes to refine instead of guessing. It's the same logic. With the rats, I'm in a place now where it's easy to refine. I darkened the ears and now the paws slightly. And I keep controlling those darker additions by softening them with that clean and damp brush, so they always look like they belong to the paint underneath. This is a gradual process. A quick and light base, a few bolder moves, adjust between the light and dark parts, and repeat. At this stage, I noticed something else. The surface the rat is leaning on looks too flat compared to the animal itself, so I add paint there too. Because watercolor painting isn't just about taking care of one area. It's about balance across the entire painting. It's better to view a subject as a whole than in sections. Now that the puzzle is nearly complete, I can go darker with confidence, so I place a strong shadow under the neck. I deepen the eyes and mouth with my thickest sepia, and I push the nose a bit more so it doesn't fade into the surrounding fur. If I had established these landmarks earlier, this would feel terrifying to do from scratch now, and maybe I'd realize the fur is way too dark and it'd be too late to correct it. And that's where a lot of people report that they tend to lose their whites or that their paintings look heavy and overworked. I keep adjusting, and that word matters because adjusting is not the same thing as detailing. You can adjust values and balance without committing to tiny details yet. At this point, I also start lifting paint for even more balance. I use a wet brush on dry areas to reactivate the paint. Then I press with a paper towel to remove it, and that brings light back where it's needed. This is how you regain softness and keep whites alive even late in the process. Only now do I move into details like the whiskers, and notice how easy that decision is now. Because everything else tells me exactly how light or dark these should be as well. That is the key idea of this video. When a painting feels overwhelming, or that it's too flat, or on the contrary, too overworked, heavy, it's often because you're missing anchors. And anchors usually come from a base with dark additions that shape the painting better. Begin light, and when uncertainty shows up, that is your cue to add structure with darker tones. To then create those anchors so you can make adjustments around them and get to your own perfect finish point without guessing. When you paint, do you tend to hesitate or rush? Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to learn this approach more deeply and paint with me step by step, you can find my watercolor courses linked below. I teach this and much more. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.